Hi guys, this is my first time doing a screen castify, so bear with me. I don't know how this is gonna go. After looking over the responses to the satire questions and in particular the optional online meeting that we had today, I'm noticing that some students have a good grasp on the satire in chapters 17 and 18 while others are having some trouble. So, I am accessing this link to the text of Huckleberry Finn. That's also posted on our Google Classroom under the whenever I post like a new assignment that's due. That's the link that I post to the Gutenberg.org. So if you scroll down, if you'd like to do this on your copy, for chapter 17, this is when Huck arrives at this new house after being split up from Jim. The steamboat crashes through their raft and they're separated. Huck escapes to dry land and stumbles upon this house. So he runs in and he discovers that he's fallen into this household of Grangerfords. And when they see him, they immediately think he's from the enemy family, the Shepherdsons. And he's got to prove that he's not a Shepherdson. And once they accept him into the family, and of course, he has his new alias, which I will have right here. He calls himself George Jackson. And we know Huck is very good at making up different aliases. After that whole thing, Huck is meeting members of the family. And in particular, right here, this is the artist's sketch of Buck Grangerford. And we know that Buck Grangerford, when he runs down the stairs, he's holding a shotgun. And he is, his first words are, "Ain't they no Shepherdsons around?" and and they're like, "Nah, false alarm." And Buck Grangerford is disappointed. He's like, "Well, if they'd been, if they'd been a some, I reckon I got one." He's really anxious to have the chance to kill a Shepherdson, all part of this game. And this is reinforced by the family, because the family's like, "Buck, they might have scalped us all. You've been so slow in coming and waking up." Like, that's a very disturbing remark to make. We know at the end of chapter 18, there's awful bloodshed between the two families. And Buck in particular, he doesn't make it. He gets killed. Huck sees that whole thing play out. And it becomes ironic here that they're downplaying the severity of this feud. That is satire. So this whole section in here is definitely satire, where a child is being almost taught to participate in this barbaric feud, and the family encourages it, and no one seems to think there's anything horrible with it. And they even joke and say, "Oh, they might have scalped us all. You've been so slow in coming." Um, and then the father, that's a reference to the old man, Colonel Grangerford's like, "You'll have show enough, all in good time. Don't you fret about that." In other words, like, you'll have a chance to prove that you are also able to kill a Shepherdson. So that is all an example, excuse me, of satire. There is more further down. I don't want to make this screencastify thing too long because I don't want to lose you or bore you. So, oh gosh, even right here, these are some of the original illustrations from Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. And again, you can get to this by going to our class page. Oh, wait a second. Maybe I can show you how to do this now. Oh boy. All right. Period 3. Obviously 3, 6, and 8. You guys have the same type of interface. If you go to, like, the last time I posted, read this, you'll see under the instructions, this is the file I'm accessing, the Gutenberg.org Huckleberry Finn. So if that helps at all. Anyway, so further down into chapter 17, we well, we don't really meet her. Emmeline Grangerford dies at a young age, but she was so obsessed with death that even her artwork features death, kind of glamorizing death, glorifying death. Her poetry is about death. There's actually a lot of humor in this ode to Stephen Dowling Bots, which maybe I'll talk about at a different time because I don't want to give you too much, but this is also satire. Very serious subject that's treated in a lighthearted way. That's another way you can tell that it's a satire. Let's see, going further down, we get into chapter 18. Check out the original illustrations of Colonel Grangerford. And you can see that Twain describes him as a gentleman all over. He was well born, and that's worth as much in a man as in a horse. Like this description of him being like of the aristocracy, the very refined Southern class, a gentleman. But we know this is a contradiction. He might be well dressed, he might be wealthy, he might have the reputation of being a gentleman, but he's not. He's encouraging this feud, and it's barbaric. And at the end of the chapter, the families are dead, with the exception of Sophia Grangerford and Harney Shepherdson. So, anyway, I'm going to end this for now because there's so much more that I could talk about. I want to see if this even worked because this is my first time doing a Screencastify. This is Miss Hampson, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.